Hey guys, Trey Ketchum coming at you here. It is Monday after Super Bowl Sunday, and wanted to go over a few tips and reminders, keys, and things for this week. Just coming off of yesterday's amazing game. I mean, it's so incredible to see, the things that can happen in the biggest game and the biggest stage of the football season. It's so many amazing plays happened last night. Most memorably, I guess, were the last couple of plays, most the catch that happened after the bobble and the interception there at the goal line. And when I think about those two plays, they kind of sum up a lot of what it means in business to be successful. And that is, first of all, is that anybody, anytime, anywhere can become a hero. And I know that the guy that made the catch was like a fourth round draft pick, kind of a relative no name. He's the third or fourth, I think actually the fourth best cornerback on the Patriots team. I think it was his first career interception, maybe that he made right there, but none bigger than the interception that he made. That will go down in infamy for Seahawks fans and obviously in glory for Patriots fans for years and years to come. On par, probably with the catch that the Giants player made so many Super Bowls ago that effectively ended the Patriots' magical run that they had, over a decade ago. But anybody can become, a hero. Anybody can become, a star almost overnight. Anybody can get national attention overnight by being in the right place at the right time and making their claim, staking out their destiny by risking it, putting it all on the line. They can become, amazing. And and I think about for you guys this upcoming summer, running your own offices. You may be a relatively unknown management candidate, but every year we have somebody that is a relative unknown to the rest of the region that comes out, dominates, and becomes a household name for everybody in the company. Every year we have new districts that go out that are relative unknowns that end up beating people that, were former PSMs, two-time PSMs, former top 20 branch managers, and they go out a new district, maybe being a brand new district or somebody who ran a relatively small branch, goes out and ends up becoming, the crown jewel, so to speak, of the district manager class for that division, potentially region. And obviously we have that happen occasionally nationally too. Every year there's people that come out of nowhere and make amazing decisions. There's also people that are incredibly talented, people that are experts at their field that seemingly make boneheaded decisions and cost themselves tremendously. I was telling, some people in an interview today that I feel like there's probably 95% of football fans that feel like they could have coached those last few downs better than Pete Carroll, who's a perennial champion in the sport of football, but they feel like, they could have coached it better. I mean, anybody with, that knows anything about football knows, hey, that big imposing running back, Marshawn Lynch, the guy who's got an entire YouTube sensation video named after him for people that cannot tackle him, would probably be able to run it in the end zone with 3 plays and only 1 yard to go. I mean, I would have been willing to bet a lot of money on the fact that Marshawn Lynch with 3 tries would have gotten into the back of the end zone. But hey, I'm not Pete Carroll. I'm not making $6 or $7 million a year to have to make that decision. So for that matter, I'm going to keep my mouth shut. But the point I'm making, though, is that every year we have people that seemingly have everything, all super talented, but they make the wrong call. They make the wrong decision. Some cases, it's simply just a matter of swinging for the fences and not connecting. But the true measure of a champion and the true measure of a Pete Carroll will be how will he respond? How will he get his team to respond after having the lack of success that they had? Well, relative lack of success. I mean, they were better than every other team but one this season, but in their minds, they lost it. They could have won the championship. They could have won the Super Bowl, but instead they fell just short. Number one loser, so to speak. But his true character will be tested on how he reacts and how he responds to this improper decision that he made. In addition, there's people that do the right things time in and time out that are perennial champions. And I do think about somebody like Tom Brady. And Tom Brady last night, I believe he broke the record. If not broke, he definitely tied Joe Montana's record for most touchdowns in a Super Bowl history, right? So the most touchdowns thrown in Super Bowl history was broken by Tom Brady. I believe it was broken. And he's somebody that has produced time and time again. And you know what? He wasn't number one every single year. Now, he's won it 4 times. But he's not won the Super Bowl every year that he's been playing. But he's always been in the conversation, and the Patriots have always been there near the top. And hopefully one day we could say the same thing about Russell Wilson. But I know for right now, when people talk about Tom Brady, one of the first things they think about is a winner. He's somebody that will come in and produce time and time again. And that is who he is, and that's what was evidenced by last night's victory. And you saw how proud and excited he was, and how fired up he was about his teammates and the win. And at the very end of the game, Richard Sherman, who's kind of famous for, kind of yelling at Tom Brady at the end of a playoff loss many years ago, I guess not many years ago, but, yelling at him at the end of a game, came up to Tom Brady and offered his hand as, hey, congrats. And it was a great moment of two, perennial, I guess not perennial, but two highly regarded, talents at their respective positions in the business coming up and acknowledging, how great they are. I also had the opportunity on Saturday to watch, the fight, the UFC fight that happened with Silva and Diaz. And I was reminded of the passion and intensity that goes into that. And Anderson Silva, for those of you that don't know, was a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu fighter who actually snapped his leg on a knee check by Chris Weidman the last time that he fought. Snapped his leg like it was a toothpick, actually. Bent in, and he had to be carted off the octagon in a stretcher. And many people wondered if he would ever get back in the ring. And his family pleaded with him to quit. They asked him to stop, but he said, this is who I am, and if you take this away from me now, you're taking away my life. And I saw Anderson Silva fight on Saturday. It was such an amazing display of talent, passion, intensity, and commitment to greatness that I've probably one of the best fights I've ever seen him fight. Now, obviously, he didn't knock the guy out. He was fighting somebody who was one of the toughest scrappers in the sport, but it was a unanimous decision, and he really worked the guy up and down that octagon. That is one of the most talented and most physically fit and best conditioned athletes in the entire sport. And he just wore him out. And it was great to see Anderson Silva do that. And when I was watching the interview for that, it's very similar to some of the stuff that they talked about in football, which is that, it was commitment, it was passion, it was doing the right techniques, but it was also doing the right things at the right time consistently to get himself ready for that fight. And it's the same thing with football. And those, the Patriots have been consistently great due to the excellent coaching, teaching, talent acquisition, and strategic management, maybe the ball deflation, I don't know, but strategic management of Bill Belichick and the Patriots coaches. He had to do the same thing in UFC. And when I think about your business as a manager, you have to do the same thing. You have to have passion for what you do. You have to be excited about giving back and helping your representatives. You have to be willing to learn the skill set that you need, and you got to be willing to take those failures and those times of adversity, which you will face, and be willing to rise above them. Because at the end of the business day, the end of the fight, the end of the game, you have to go back and look at yourself in the mirror and say, did I give it my all? And you know what? If I didn't have the success that I wanted, where can I improve? And you will have days that you win. You will have business days that you lose. You will have days where you feel like everything is going perfectly, and you have days where you feel like nothing that you're doing is going well. And you have to be able to look at your eye and say that you did everything that you did to the best of your ability that day. And if there's something that didn't go well, you're reaching and seeking out the advice and the answers from people that are getting the right results. And not just people that get it once, but people that are consistently producing at the highest of levels. And so the great part about our business, unlike many others, unlike fighting, unlike Super Bowls, NFL teams, is that our champions of our business do want to share the secrets. They do want to help other people be successful. They do want to mentor people. So you have people here at your disposal that you can lean on and rely on to become great. So I tell you all this because tonight's topic is going to be on the day 3 dropping down section. But before I get into that, I want to tell you that we've got a couple of important events that are coming up here in the next couple of days. The first event that's coming up is that we're going to be doing territory announcements this week. Now, and then we also need to make sure that we're getting school dates by the middle of February. So by February 15th, we need to have all our school dates done. So you'll be finding out your territory here probably in the next 48 hours. You're gonna hear your territory, and then you got about 10 days or so to get all the school dates and stuff looked up so that you can be ready to go out to get your territory mailers sent out properly. So you'll be finding out your territories here shortly. And you're going to need to be getting the material that you need for your school dates. As a reminder, the information that you need to have is you need to have the high school graduate, for your territory. You need all of the private and public high schools. You want to know when their graduation is, the graduation location, the graduation time, and ideally find out when the practice graduation is, time and location as well. For your colleges, you want to know what the last day of classes are. And you want to know what the first day and last day of finals are. And then in addition to that, you would also ideally like to know when your summer school kicks back into session. So again, as a reminder, colleges, last day of class, last day of finals, first day of summer school, high schools, graduation, location, time and date, and practice graduation, location, time and date, ideally. So those are the school information that you want to find. We've got prep coming up. It's going to be actually on, I think we're actually going to be having that prep on February 21st, I believe. I think we already announced that, but that will be coming up here in a couple of weeks. So you'll need to get me your school dates and information well in advance of that. And then by May, ideally right after that prep, which at that prep, we're going to be discussing how to go do office searching and office hunting. And then you'll want to go to your territory right after that prep that next week in the first week of April or first week of March to lock down your territory office space. And your managers, your district managers, myself, fellow district managers within the divisions are going to be helping you guys out with that. But you'll want to get that done. And then, of course, taking advantage of the spring break to make sure that you run your first training seminar. So if you haven't already done so by this upcoming Monday, you want to schedule your first training seminar practice run with your district. So they'll get time with you, I'm sure, to do that, but you want to make sure you're mapping that out. So those are a couple key things that I've got for you. As far as just normal things, obviously make sure you're selling, make sure you're building startup, make sure that you're increasing your skill set by working on scripting training. Now, we already talked about the big 6 key talks. You want to make sure that you know how all of it works. You want to make sure you know how all the training is going to flow. But make sure you're nailing those 6 key talks. And the talk tonight that I'm going to spend a little bit of time talking about is the dropping down section. Now, you're going to want to have Danny Feldman's Day 3 Selling Sets talk scripted. What I'm going to talk about is a video that I'm probably going to do for you that you'll have, but I at least want to talk about it logistically. And that's the dropping down section. And the dropping down section is one of the most important sections on Day 3 to creating sales pop. And the reason it's one of the most important sections of creating sales pop is because that's where you're instilling a sense of confidence through the drop down process and how to be comfortable with the close. And so what I always do right there is I review on review from the videos they're going to watch on Day 2, the dropping down section, the stairwell the stairway that they're used to seeing. And I tell them, guys, at the end of the presentation, 1 or 2 things are going to happen. The first thing that's going to happen is they're going to go ahead and buy it. The second thing that's going to happen is they're going to say something like, I can't afford it. Okay. And so then I go through why people say they can or can't afford it. And then after I explain that, then I'm going to show them, not only is it very normal for them to hear it, but that they hear it all the time in their regular life. Like if they're going to go buy a car, would they take the first price, or would they see if they get a better deal? Same thing. If they're going to buy a house, would they just take it as is, or would they see if they can get a better deal? Everybody is conditioned to try to do that. So sometimes that's what they're trying to do. So after explaining that it's human nature to initially be hesitant when they ask them to buy, it allows the rep to feel comfortable when they hear no from a customer. Then the next step is I walk through the 3 types of representatives. The ones that sell homemakers or nothing, the one that sell only pieces, and the one that sells a little bit of everything. And the ones that sell homemakers or nothing, those are the ones that at the end of the presentation has a customer tell them they want to buy later, and they say no. And I say, guys, it's just like walking downstairs. When you're little, what did your parents teach you? right? And so I do the example of, the three keys to walking downstairs. Number one, hold on to the rail. Number two, take one step at a time. And number three, go slowly. And I say, guys, here's the thing. If you read the white book, it does all three of those for you. It forces you to go one step at a time. It forces you to follow the railing, right? And it forces you to go slowly. So by reading this with confidence and enthusiasm, you're doing all of that, and the customer is feeling confident and comfortable with the process. But it's still, at the end, there's three types of reps. One is the one that sells homemakers or nothing. That would be like somebody hearing, come back to me later, and they say, okay. The second one is the one that sells only pieces. And in that case, the customer tells them, hey, can I just buy one thing? And then the third case is somebody that sells a little bit of everything. And for people that sell homemakers or nothing, that would be like them just jumping from the top of the stair down to the bottom. They're going to end up breaking their ankles. Not going to be very pleasant. People that just sell pieces, that would be like somebody tries to run down the stairs in socks. They're slipping, they're sliding, they're bumping their butt, and all the way down, they're bruising themselves, and they end up flat down at the bottom, kind of unhappy with how their process went. And the third type of rep is the one where they're kind of going down slowly, helping each customer one step at a time, and finding what they're comfortable and confident with and helping them out. And those are the ones that get the most recommendations. Those are the ones that help the customers the best. And those are the ones that are happiest about their job when it's all said and done. Here's why. Our average order is not $1,000. It is $350. What that means that you're going to have $1,000 orders, you're going to have $2,000, you're going to have $200 orders, $300 orders, you're going to have $100 orders. But the key is to start at the top and drop down slowly. Don't do a disservice to your customers by trying to rush them. Okay, go slowly, and if you truly believe that people will be better off by having it, then you will. And so then after I go through the examples with them, I actually do a live example of the drop down with with the customers and so, or with the representatives. And so what I'm going to do for your video is you're going to see me talking about the different types of customers. You're going to see me going through a drop down process with a fake customer, so to speak. And then you can have them role play that at the end, but that'll all be on a video. And it's going to be designed to kind of help you show the representatives that it's okay and normal to drop down slowly and still sell a set, but also not to vary their enthusiasm, be excited each step of the way. And then that will be how to do the drop down. After that, you'll have them role play. Beyond that, you're going to have what's called upselling and selling gifts and accessories for Cutco owners. So that'll be a separate video. And in that video, it's going to be me showing what happens if a customer does choose to buy the homemaker and how to upsell either the signature set or the ultimate set. And then also at the end, once they do figure out what they're going to buy, how to go through the accessories booklet while also showing the appropriate page to use in the new white book. And the new white book that we're currently going to be using is page 13, I believe, for that, but it may adjust once the Eastern Region Manual comes out. So if that is the case, I'll just edit that video so it has the appropriate page number in it. So, but that's what, so the big deal during the drop down process, the big goal during the drop down process rather, is to show them comfort and confidence with walking through the white book from pages basically 9 or 10, depending on which manual you're using, through selling customized options, and at the same time being comfortable and okay calling the office to get help if necessary. So that's a really important section. You want to make sure they actually role play that section. That's not one that you want to kind of skip over for time's sake. If you want to have a good average order, if you want to have a good closing percentage, they need to be confident with the customer saying no, or the customer saying, hey, can I just buy pieces at the end of the presentation? So, so that's going to be kind of the gist of what you're going to teach, or what I'm going to teach, and then you're going to have them role play that section, and then afterwards we're going to show you how to do upselling and selling gifts and accessories to Cutco owners, and then those will be 2 videos that you're going to be able to implement amongst many in day 3 of training. So right now, the big things that you're going to want to be scripting for day 3, or really reviewing for day 3, is the PR talk, which you should already have, and Danny Feldman's Selling Sets talk, which you could find on Vector Connect. So go on Vector Connect, watch Danny Feldman's Selling Sets talk, script that thing out so that you have it. And make sure not only do you script it out, but you also script it out and put your voice into it. Meaning if there's something that he's saying that you don't agree with, or there's something that he's saying that kind of seems a little unusual or off, make sure that you adjust it so that it works for you. You know, maybe there's a phrase that he uses over and over again where you feel like if you say it twice, you're good instead of 4 times. Maybe there's something that comes across a little bit too salesy. And you got to make sure, guys, that you're using your personality. Can't be you laid back one person, and then the next part be, you know, be like Danny. You know, you got to be your own version of yourself. So, so that's what you want to be working on for this week. Make sure you're scripting it out. Also, make sure you're working on getting those school dates ready for this week. You know, we got a busy week. Some of you guys are going to be joining me in Punta Cana here in a couple days, so I'm excited about that. So make sure that you make sure that you get your bathing suit, sunscreen, tanning lotion, whatever else you want to use to be ready for that. Bring a little bit of money for souvenirs and a little bit of money for fun. And I will see you in a couple days. For those of you that are going to be back home, let's make sure that you never miss a trip with Vector ever again, because they are unbelievable, and it's definitely not one that you're going to want to miss. So you guys have a fantastic night. As always, no excuses, play like a champion. See ya.